What is up, guys, gals, and you awesome means and gamers, different shapes and sizes. It is me, Josh, again, Proxy, bringing you some Titanfall 2 today on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. We're also on the brand new map, Angel City. Would love to know your opinion of it in the comment section below if you're actually playing it at the moment. Don't forget that this weekend is a free multiplayer trial of Titanfall 2, so every single person can get on this on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. Very, very exciting. Hopefully, get to see you on the battlefield, either in my sights, or maybe I'll be in yours. Please do not kill me. But this map is really cool, really loving the reinvigoration of Angel City. Like, as you can see, it's just blooming with color. And this is something that's been really good about Titanfall 2, is that unlike a lot of other games that haven't been very colorful, this actually has so much color. Like, just look at the color palette, the rainbow-inness of it. You've got those blossom trees, even like the guns, like have that orange and that blue highlight, like the weapon skins, the character skins, the Titan skins, even just the environment in general is so freaking colorful. And it's kind of different, it's kind of welcoming, it's very nice, and I kind of appreciate it because there's been a lot of games where they've just been kind of like drab and boring. Like, I know that Battlefield 1, for instance, is kind of aimed at being a bit more dull and depressing and stuff because obviously World War I and things like that, but it's kind of nice to see like a sci-fi game, a futuristic game, even something just kind of modern, you know, being colorful and not just being drab, you know, like say the original Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 or even say Black Ops, which is kind of funny actually because that was a futuristic game, but it still had that kind of like drabbiness about it. Like, they had so much potential. Like, it was just grey and orange, you know? You need more than just grey. I mean, okay, I do love like Jaffa cakes and things like that, but or like lavas. I mean, I love the lava pits, I love the lava lamps, but that's just one singular color. You need multitudes of color, just like in this. And it's one of the reasons why I really like games kind of like Killzone as well, because Killzone had things where it had light blues, it had the grey, but it had the light blues, the light oranges. It had, you know, it had these little like sparks of really nice color, and it wasn't just kind of like one color and then like a sub color. Generally, you actually have free focus colors when it comes to kind of like making art and things. You have your primary, secondary, and your tertiary. Your tertiary being like the little one, but something that's really awesome is when everything just kind of gets mixed in together, and Titanfall 2 really does that well. Even as I said, Killzone did that really well as well. I mean, not maybe the original Killzone, but Killzone 2 and 3 did that fantastically, and definitely Shadowfall. Maybe just games in general are starting to kind of go a little bit more towards nicer kind of like aesthetics, you know, possibly, potentially, I'm not too sure. And this also kind of goes in with other games as well, like say Infinite Warfare, which is a Call of Duty game. As I said, Black Ops kind of like suffered from not having very good color, but Infinite Warfare, from all the different planets you go to and all the different types of places in space that you actually visit, have all these really awesome aesthetics. And as you can see here as well, we're actually using the brand new Titan Prime called Scorch. Remember, these are kind of like, what would you say, like premium skins in a sense. They cost £3.99 or at least about $5 if you are in America, and that allows you to have this really cool unique skin for your Titan, either Ion or Scorch. Obviously then we bring out even more in the future for North Star, Ronin and Legion and Tone, so there's going to be plenty more variety when it comes to those skins, and I really hope we actually get to see more of those in the future as well. There isn't just one-off premium skin, like maybe even different ones, like maybe some kind of like classic ones or movie inspired ones. Like, what if they did kind of like Pacific Rim inspired skins? That'd be kind of cool. Or just kind of like different franchises. Like, obviously Titanfall 2 shares the exact same publisher, which is EA, and so what if you had things like, oh, I don't know, you could have like Battlefield 1, kind of like World War I-y kind of steampunky tanks like Titans, and you could have like Star Wars inspired ones as well, like ATST kind of like built looking things, or I'm not too sure, there's just so much that you could do, or maybe just like a giant walking Darth Vader. I'm not too sure about that. But I think that'd be kind of cool. What would be your opinion though when it comes to that? What kind of things would you like to see when it comes to the variety of Titanfall DLC and skins and weapons and things? Like, one thing I guess I am kind of disappointed by is the fact that the weapons aren't new. So when it comes to the premium skins of these Titan Primes, they don't get a brand new weapon skin, which is kind of a bit of a shame, so that kind of lets it down a little bit. But the actual Titan itself is really nicely like flourished, as you saw there, and even say like Ion Prime looks amazing as well. For some reason I'm using the Heckler here, and I don't know why I'm using the Hemlock. It's called the Hemlock, isn't it? I don't know why I'm using the Hemlock. I like to call it the Heckler because how it kind of goes and it's kind of like what people make that noise when they're kind of like heckling. I don't know. I just think it's like a really cool thing. Maybe I'm not going to be able to coin that. I mean, no one's going to catch on that. no, it's going to be completely rejected. But nicely camped here as well. One thing to try and do when you are playing Bounty Hunt is to try and look after the cash points, because remember, this is what allows enemies to actually kind of like cash in and help their team actually excel in the matches and potentially win. So one thing is to do is maybe just kind of like camp these spots. There is nothing wrong with that. It does actually help your team win. You're not just kind of like hiding in the corner, shaking back and forth, hoping for the long, lifelong release of druggage in your veins. It's nothing kind of like that. It's not going cold turkey. It is just whooping ass in a actual control spot that allows you to cash in. Because remember, Bounty Hunt is all about gaining that cash from killing AI and then cashing into a bank. So make sure that you are controlling those banks and not just the AI respawns. But what are your own tactics? Would love to know. One thing that I found when it comes to Angel City is that there's so much kind of like versatility to it. This is probably one of the most prime, it's kind of funny saying prime, seeing that we already have like the prime skins for Titans, but it seems to be a very prime map as well for when it comes to the gameplay of Titanfall 2, mainly because there is just so much you can do with it. Like, one thing that we all know about Titanfall in general is that you kind of have to run around on walls, you have to jump around, you have to kind of like scale buildings and things like that. And it's something that we remember from Titanfall 1 with those really nicely designed maps, and Titanfall 2 has that as well. But one thing that they've tried to do with a lot of those areas is keep them very, very open. Something that we got that's quite awesome about Titanfall, like 2's kind of like Angel City map, is that you actually have those little select areas of kind of like immense clumpiness. Like, you have to go through the city streets, you know, it's not always kind of like these open areas where the pilots don't really have a chance to kind of like scale up against the Titans, they can't get a drop on them. But in this one, you actually do. Angel City allows you to do that, and I really appreciate that. It has to be one of those really memorable maps from the original Titanfall that really kind of lets you excel as a pilot. Got completely dropped on there, so I go and spawn my own Titan there, as you saw. They get completely pwned by another Titan that gets spawned. That was just bad luck of the draw, I think. What does everybody else think? Has anyone actually ever experienced that before as well? Would love to know. It would just sucked. I nearly cried when that happened to me, but I'm gonna get over it. Now, you may notice I'm actually using a personal, I think these are called personal anti-pilot sentry turrets, a massive mouthful, but basically what they allow you to do is cover a select area for a full 1 minute, where they kind of like fill in with like machine gun fire, so think of it kind of like an actual stationary bodyguard in a sense. And it's really actually good for Angel City, because it means that if you pop one on top of a rooftop, it means you can actually hold those like areas for a very long extended amount of time, especially since if you go onto this top rooftop I'm just going by now, and again, it's one of those things where you can actually cover those bases, and there are so many different bases, as I was just saying, when it comes to game against like Titans and stuff, that you can actually cover. And so one thing I would actually say is that the anti-personal turret is actually very, very useful. Able to get a drop on that guy there as well, who was just at one of those cash points. It seems that we're actually at a loss here, but our team is just not doing very well, but hopefully we can turn this around. The enemy team is so close to victory, and we've only got about 5, maybe 6, 7 minutes left for this match to end. I'm going to drink some coffee. Who likes coffee and who likes tea? Would love to know. And this is how I drink coffee. I like to slurp it a little bit. Pop. May have had a little bit of vibration in the mic there, but I do apologise. But it's one of those things where you do have to drink your coffee or it will get cold, or your hot chocolate. I mean, come on, let me know. What are your preferences when it comes to drinks? It can't all just be about Titanfall. It has to be about the lifestyle as well. If I'm playing Titanfall, if I'm playing a first-person shooter, if I'm whooping some serious assage, I want to make sure that I have a good drink in my hand, on my lap, not actually the fluid on my lap, but I have a nice little warm cup of cocoa, cup of coffee, and I'm able to whoop some ass at the same time. So what is your kind of favourite beverage when it comes to kicking ass in Titanfall? Now, this is something I've actually mentioned in the last video, is that you may notice that you're actually getting Titans a lot faster now. And I don't know if this is something that they've actually ended up patching in the game, where now people actually get Titans a lot faster, because there are different playstyles when it comes to Titanfall, as we already know. But Titanfall 2 kind of opens up to something a little bit different. It kind of adds on to that welcoming factor where if you are a bit more comfortable in your Titan, you can actually get that Titan a little bit more now, which is kind of cool, because in the original beta and even the alpha, it was kind of one of those, like, in like Titanfall 1, where you maybe got your Titan once or twice, but as you may have noticed, I've got it pretty much like 3 or 4 times now, and that's just from like working efficiently. I mean, I haven't been like over the top murdering everyone, but just from casual play, like, you can actually gain your Titan quite quickly, and that's quite freaking awesome. You may notice as well that it's very, very difficult to actually take down pilots with Scorch. It takes a lot of practice with that grenade launcher, and it's something that I've been trying to spend a lot of time doing, because Scorch can do a lot of damage, but if you miss that shot, then you get completely screwed over. Also, how come I did not get like completely one-shot that Titan there with my ultimate? Because pretty much he had like barely any health, she had barely any health, it had barely any health, and somehow I just did not be able to get the drop on it. I was just not able to finish it off, and he was able to eject in time. Whatever, I'll get over it, it's fine. I'll write in my diary later. I won't get upset, not on video, not in front of you. You need me to be brave. Now, one thing to note is that we're actually catching up on that scoreboard, and something that Respawn have actually done really, really awesomely for the teams is to allow you to see the potential scorage that you can achieve now on that little score meter at the top of, well, the screen. So originally you only had that blue and orange bar, and that kind of like filled up once you kind of went to those cash points and put in your money, but now you may notice this little bit of like an orange kind of like square, like just onto the left of it, that basically shows you the amount collected by your team that they can actually cash in and potentially allow you to catch up and win. So it kind of makes you feel a little bit better about you scoring, and say if you are actually lagging behind with your team. So as we're actually catching up now, we're actually about to go ahead in the lead with that scorage, and it's one of those things as well where it kind of really inspires you to try and push even harder when it comes to whooping ass. Because again, originally it was one of these things where you kind of hoped that your team were kind of like winning or were potentially contributing or were kind of like working together to gain that money, and they weren't just trying to like kill the pilots and not kill the AI, which is something that I personally have been very criminal of doing. But now it's kind of awesome, look, that you can actually see that potential kind of cash-in where your team can turn things around, can turn the tide of battle by collecting that money, and I think that's really, really good. It's something that I only noticed on my like third or fourth match. Like, I completely didn't see it at first because originally I was just so used to focusing on the match and seeing what I can do for myself, but now actually seeing what my team is able to gain with me, it means I can kind of, you know, work with them and defend them in a sense and help them get to those cash points as well, especially if I don't have the money. It means that I know that my team have a lot of importance to the value of them staying alive with that money, because remember, if they die to an enemy player, they lose half of their cash to them. So very, very important in an aspect. But are we going to win? That is the main question here, because things could still change. The enemy team could still gain a lot of influence, a lot of those AI kills, and a lot of that money, and we do not want that to happen. Now sadly, I was actually about to kill that player there, but he got completely blocked by my fellow Titan, which was just not very nice, not very, very good. This is one of those things as well when it comes to killing players, I think, is that try not to rush in too much. Try not to be so kind of like greedy when it comes to kills. I mean, obviously that guy may have not noticed my tiny mosquito-sized little pilot, but it's one of those things as well where if you are working together with your team to potentially whoop ass, it's this thing where don't try and like, say, sacrifice health. This is something that's completely unrelated to what you just saw there, but the idea of actually kind of like sacrificing your health to rush ahead and kill somebody is a very, very bad idea. It's something that I originally did quite a lot in the past, but it's something that isn't actually worth it. So say if you are playing as your Titan and you have an enemy pilot in front of you who has that anti-Titan weapon and they're able to do damage to you, maybe stay back, maybe try and play the range a little bit, because one thing to remember is that the pilot weapons actually have a very limited range to them, especially those anti-Titan weapons. So say if you are using like an assault rifle, you're not going to be able to do a very long range shot, really, generally. I mean, it is medium to long range, but it's not like fantastic long range. You will lose a lot to that recoil and that kind of like stinted range that it already gains. But when it comes to, say, anti-Titan weapons, say like your mag launcher and such, which I'm using right now, you only have a very limited kind of window where you can actually use it when it comes to that range. So one thing to remember is that the Titan weapons, apart from Ronin's, have fantastic range. They can actually pretty much cover the entire field, which is really cool. So say like Tone's 40mm cannon, or Ion's burst rifle, or even say like Northstar with that sniper rifle, or even Legion, all of those Titans have fantastic range weapons, and you can always use that to your advantage against pilots. So why not just jump back, do a dash backwards, do a tactical retreat, even if it means saving your Titan's health against another Titan, it's always going to be worth that. And again, look, as I was saying about the verticality of Angel City, you can actually use the rooftops to your advantage to take down enemy Titans. And again, originally, we were actually losing this match, and we've actually been able to turn it around, which is so epic, so awesome. And even working with my Titan here, look, don't even have to worry about kind of like getting into your Titan. My Titan worked together with me as a team, as a unit, to pwn some serious ass. And this is even with the assault chip. Remember, you can actually put those assault chips on your Titan, which will allow them to kind of work by themselves a little bit better. They will use all of their abilities unless you just leave them alone and they'll just use the grenade launcher. But as you saw, even as like a stationary kind of like backup wingman of AI-ness, I was able to work together and take down an enemy Legion that had a pilot inside, which is just so freaking cool. But this has been the end of this match. We've actually been able to win this one, claim it in the bag, which was so tense because originally I actually thought I was going to lose this one. I was thinking, oh no, it's going to be one of those matches where my team just, you know, we're not able to like pull ahead. The enemy team are just too coordinated. But as you saw, we've been able to pull this one into our favor, take the ball in our court, and get that one-hit kill, baby. the comment section below. Let me know, what did you think to it? Would love to know. And also, what do you think to Scorch Prime? And look at that grenade launcher show, that was fantastic. This is the thing I was just saying, you can actually practice a lot with Scorch and get some amazing kills with it. Because remember, one shot from that thermite launcher directly is a one-hit kill. So cool, so fantastic. But it has been me, Josh, aka Proxy, bringing you some Titanfall 2 today on the PlayStation 4 Pro. Would love to know your opinion of it in the comment section below, and what you think to the DLC that you've seen so far. Hope to see you at the weekend demo of the multiplayer. But ciao for now.